All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to this September daily horoscope. This is for the 3rd and 4th, Wednesday and Thursday. All right, so we've got the moon in Sagittarius in the first quarter phase. So Sagittarius, we have this full moon in Aquarius, and these two signs have a beautiful sextile with each other, very supportive, opportunities here. And what it's really telling me is that there's opportunities when we open up. Okay, we have to open up. Now, yes, this is the heart, because this is where the new moon took place in Leo. And that's what this whole major theme is really opening up. And because it's first quarter, it's opening up externally, okay, which is Sagittarius anyways. It's literally allowing ourselves to see the bigger picture, to open our horizons and take a step back. Now, here's the thing is, our paths have been changing a lot with Pluto. And so if we get too caught up into the details on how everything's going to work out, it kind of narrows us into a more mundane, micro picture, small picture. What we want to do is we want to look at the big picture, expand. And when we do that, we're going to notice over these couple days that we're connected to our path, because the path is changing. It's changing a lot for a lot of us. And so the more flexible we are, the more malleable we are to those changes, and the more we're able to just step back and just see it from that higher perspective, then we can go with the flow and really embrace those changes. Now, this is very significant because Pluto is coming to an exact trine with the Sun on Wednesday. So what that means is that if we just purely observe, because that's what the Sun is. Sun is just pure conscious awareness. It's not thinking and analyzing like Mercury. It's just simply being aware of it. So when we're aware of the big picture, aware of how the path is changing, we really have the opportunity to align with it, to align our conscious selves with the path, which means a great ability to see our path this month. It means a great ability to be co-creators on that path and have a strong influence on how that path is unfolding without attachment. Okay, co-creator, half and half. Our job is to merely put it out there, but generally put it out there and let the universe work out the details. So in either case, I think most of us are going to have a very clear insight on how our path has been changing and how it's in alignment with us now, how it's aligning with our current situation. Because the thing is like, when the path is changing, and if it's happening a lot, we don't always see it. But this is an opportunity to really see it if we let the thinking mind take a back seat and just observe it for what it is. And feel into it too, because we've got the moon transiting over Pluto in that 9th house as well. So really feeling and just consciously observing it, then we can see how everything is actually working out, perhaps even better than we imagined, or at least in a way that we had no idea, like completely different perspective on, oh wow, okay, I can kind of see now why these things happened and how it's all lining up. All right, so strong opportunity for that. Now on Thursday, we've got Mars going into Scorpio. So this is very powerful as well. Now it's a transition, and as Mars gets more and more into Scorpio, it's getting used to these energies, and he'll be in there for the next 2 months or so. So during this time, especially this week and into next week, we're really going to start incorporating our, what you might call instinctual or quote lower aspects of ourselves in what we do. So here's the thing. On the last daily report I made, I talked about embracing the instinctual and lower aspects of ourselves. Now this is very important, okay, with Mars there, because Mars is our drive, it's our action, it's our determination. And so if we're pushing anything away, it can create a lot of friction and a lot of tension in our lives, okay? So especially with Mars and Scorpio. So what we want to do is we want to embrace all aspects of ourselves and become holistic, okay? And when we do that, then we can actually trust our instincts. We can actually act on our instincts and it not get in the way. But we have to embrace them. We have to accept them holistically. Because if we push them away, they become outcasted and separate. But if we embrace them, then they become only a part of us. They don't control us anymore. It's just a part there that's integrated and aligned with all the other parts of ourselves, so to speak. There are no parts. We're all holistic, and it's really just about observing that and being aware of that. Now, the 8th house, Scorpio is a water element, okay? So there's a very strong spiritual connotation to Scorpio, and Mars also rules Scorpio. traditionally. So what this means is, Scorpio has a tremendous amount of power, okay? And it's spiritual power. But the one thing that this sign is teaching us is that it has to be for the divine. It has to be for the greater good. In other words, we have to be really coming from an open heart, okay? And that's what this whole lunar cycle is really about. It's coming from that open heart, all right? And it's what's teaching us. So allow this cycle to really help us learn this open heart and how important that is, because this is going to stay with us while Mars transits through Scorpio for the next 2 months. So, in other words, if we're coming from the right place, all right, if we're being compassionate, our hearts are open, we're embracing ourselves and others and our reality, then Mars in Scorpio has a tremendous amount of spiritual power when it's used for the right thing, okay, when it's in alignment with the divine. So that's what we really want to practice as we get into this. We're going to naturally be doing that and learning how to work with that energy. And as we start to learn how to work with it, there's a tremendous amount of determination, ambition. A lot of us can get a lot of stuff done. This can be a very powerful time for change in our lives when we're using this energy from an open heart, essentially. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Take care.